This week's cocktail is a Fleetfoot. It is basically a Greyhound. We're going to use many bottles of vodka left over from my bachelorette because Jen had a party and they drank all of her vodka. So 1 shot of vodka, 2 shots of vodka, of course, because I'm doubling them. Some grapefruit juice. And I'm going to sweeten it with agave. It's going to give it just a little bit more than simple, I think, and then hopefully a little bit more of a gold color, because as you know, Fleetfoot was gold. You just say. Strain it in our glass. And then to be just a little extra, we are going to add some gold glitter. Super easy cocktail. Cheers. Ta-da.
5, 6, 5, 6, 7, 8. Welcome. I'm Hayley. And I'm Jen.
And this is Quick Off the Mark.
Today we're going to be talking about Son of Glass. I'm so excited. This reread has been absolutely amazing for me. We get, obviously your first rating.
Yep.
Was
low. Like a 3.5. We are going to do half marks here at Quick Off the Mark.
Yeah.
We're not going to do a
We're
good
not
read.
good
So,
reads.
yeah.
I'm going to give it half for quarters here because.
Oh, yeah. We can do, yeah. I'm going to say like a 3.5 first time that I read Throne of
I'm going
Glass.
to give you an honest opinion. It was a 2.5 first time I read it. It took me a long time to get through it. Even longer than I think it took for me to get through ACOTAR.
Yeah.
Which was a harder read for me in that series than the other books. But this one took me a good... I bought the book and I sat on it for months, which is just very much unlike me.
Mm-hmm.
So 2.5. It was hard. But the end gets you, as they do. And then Crown of Midnight, obviously, which we will talk about next week, that's where the story really picked up for me.
Mm-hmm.
My reread, going into it, 4.5.
Oh, yeah.
4.5 easily.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was so much better through the reread. And
I fell in love with these characters all over again, but from a different point of view.
Yeah.
So
I think I enjoyed my Throne of Glass reread more than I enjoyed my Empyrean reread, and I really like those books.
Yes.
But this is and of course it's all over my social media again because my phone knows that I'm reading it, I guess. And so I am seeing new points of view and new fan art and all of those things because it's just spamming my feed again. It never really all the way went away, but it's back with a vengeance, and I'm here for it. The reread of Throne of Glass was amazing, and I'm super excited to read the rest of the books because, like you said, Throne of Glass, it was took so long to get into, and then when you finally get into the rest of the books, you're so excited. So now that I'm I was already now I'm invested. But from the page 1, I'm so excited to get all the way through Throne of Glass, and then the rest of the book. So I'm really excited for the rest of the books too.
Well, and we love these characters, obviously.
Yes.
You're just meeting them the first time, and so you're kind of not really knowing where they're coming from. Now you get such a full, 360 knowledge of what these characters, what they've been through, what they're going to go through, where the story leads. I mean, there were so many important details that I didn't pick up on, even just about word keys and word gates.
I had a lot of discussion about what they were the first time we were reading
Hayley consistently. What was this again? Can someone? And literally, it all gets laid out again, and highly recommend a reread if you haven't already. But and then again, our weekly announcement that this is going to be spoiler full. So if you haven't read, please go read, come back, and then enjoy the 2 cents from the peanut gallery.
Absolutely. Well, one of my talking points got
vetoed very quickly.
So right after we even started,
we are very different teams in this book. I am Team Dorian, my sweet baby Dorian. I love you. I love you. She likes this guy Kale.
Yes, I am a team Kale. It's giving circa Twilight, Team Edward.
It is. It very much is.
And it's kind of very divided, and they were divided from the get-go. And we are making my sister read the book, and I told Jen that she wasn't allowed to influence my sister because I didn't want Jen to influence Leslie to be a Team Dorian. If
It's
she
okay.
wasn't.
Leslie already said that she also doesn't like Kale, so it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm not the only person that liked Kale, so.
We really remember how sweet of a gentleman that Dorian is, because Selena gets brought up to him. He's supposed to hate this woman. He's hiring her to be the king's assassin. Like, obviously, who is this prisoner? Who is this, peasant? And he just can't help it. He's so nice. He loves her so much. We get into Fleetfoot. Like, he's just, he brings her books. Kale was like, "Get out of here! You're not allowed to read these books."
Oh boy. Yeah, this is gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Man.
So we have those two differences. I will say that, like, also another one of the side characters that we love in this book, Nehemia, from the get-go, immediately sus.
Yeah.
I knew that she was a plant. I didn't know how. I didn't know why. I knew that she was a plant for something. Kingdom of Ash, eventual spoilers, we find out that she was, in fact, knew what she was doing going in. She says some very obvious things in this book that give it away. Like, I know what I was getting into when I came here. Things of that nature. The word marks, even when we were supposed to become suspicious of her character in general at that point, I remember thinking, but she's protecting you. There's something weird going on here.
Yeah, I thought the same thing when Selena found them underneath her bed, and then she like freaked out and was like trying to wash them away. I was like, I don't think maybe you should do that.
Yeah.
Like, there's a reason that they're under your bed. Like, they're not.
This is a safety spell.
Right.
Like, obviously.
They're underneath your bed. They're not. I guess I could see how she thought that they were like a summoning thing, but like nobody was killed. None of the champions were killed in their like suite or in their room. They were killed in the hallway. So I would have just left them alone. But
yeah. They say just if you find stuff, don't mess with it. Just let's not tempt fate.
That is But no matter how much our opinions differ between Team Kale and Dorian, they are the real love story from the jump.
Their love story will span the time of any other love story in this book. They're the ones that kept me going. They kept me going. I was like, all right, these guys are besties for the resties. And the love there goes beyond any love for Selena, any love for the king, any love for anyone else that's going to come in and out of their lives. These two this is the thick of it.
Yeah.
Yes, I will say.
Yes. So my hope is to do like a reoccurring segment about how Kale and Dorian's love story is like the big thing in this book. Like, everybody else is basically a side character to their love
Pretty
story.
much, yeah. Like, they try.
They do.
And I know they love each other, but do they really love each other? Or is it that thick? Can you just like feel the essence in the air? Because like when Kale and Dorian are like walking side by side, I can just feel the like magnetic energy. I'm like, yes.
Yeah. So I guess they're getting ready for a party, or maybe it was the Yule Nest ball. I don't know, but Dorian is telling Selena that she looks radiant, and then he says, "And you look radiant as well, Kale." And then he just like winked at him, and it was like, okay,
yeah. Yes, I love it. I love it. Like Kale, his one mission is to protect Dorian at all costs.
Oh, yeah,
and he takes that so much, and I will give him credit there. He takes it very seriously. And so far as
you hear that? She's giving him credit.
To protect his emotions. He's going to protect his body. I mean, come on, this is what we dream of in the romance novel. You're like, come on.
Yeah.
Touch him and die. Come on. Yeah.
It's just between two guy best friends.
It is. That's what real friendship looks like right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I didn't realize that we basically figure out that Selena is Fae, like, from the jump. Like, a couple of chapters in, she is talking about how the king had outlawed magic, and like fairies and fae, because I think they're two different things in this. Like they have like the little fairies. I imagine them as little fairies. They're probably not. And then actual like
You
fae.
like the little people in the woods?
Mm-hmm.
I imagine them more of like a gnome troll type situation than fairies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting.
I was kind of thinking like Tinkerbell, kind of. That's what I was thinking.
Oh no, I very much imagined like Trolls, the movie.
Yeah.
You know?
You were picturing trolls?
Yeah. The little people. Like I imagine they just kind of walk up and leave flowers and okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I did know that. I did pick up on that from the beginning. The little people were in the first book because they drop things off while they're on the road.
Mm-hmm.
While they're where are they traveling to?
They're from Endovir to...
It's the second trip they take. It's not when they first bring her in. It's when they're going to the castle, right?
No, I think it's when they first bring her in. They leave her something that we don't ever know what they...
I thought it was little like flowers.
I think they left her something specific when they were coming, and then they left her like a note or something because she talks about she like removed the dirt or whatever before anybody could see.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it talks about how that there was like no traces of magic in their blood, and it's almost like it had never existed. Selena being herself being one of them, and I was like, oh, she is a fairy, because like you don't really until Crown of Midnight, which we'll talk about next week, you don't realize that she's a fairy. You just think that she's a girl. And that was like 4 chapters in, and she was like, oh, Selena was one of them too, and I just didn't pick up on it the first time. I was like, oh, you know exactly what she is from the jump. Which is interesting, because I didn't pick that up the first time we read it through.
I mean, there were so many things I didn't pick up.
Yeah.
That literally, which is so crazy to me, and it just really shows Sarah J. Maas's foresight, because, you know, to have all of these things called back throughout the series and like trinkles of it throughout the series, especially like really culminating in Kingdom of Ash and Empire of Storms, like it's just to have the foresight of all of that in your first book at 60, like that's crazy. Yeah. So kudos, of course, we love you,
right?
Jam.
Everybody talks about how this series is much better than ACOTAR, and she wrote it so young.
Yeah.
Like the writing is better, and
I've always said, because it's a hard one for me. I love ACOTAR. That was one of the first fantasy series I read that was romantic-y, and because I really was just more of a romance, but kind of girly. And I mean, of course, Twilight, that doesn't count.
That doesn't count. Yeah,
it doesn't count. Hunger Games, that doesn't count.
It doesn't count.
Love those too, please.
Yeah,
but that was as far as my kind of fantasy realm had gone. So to go into this and have it be so detailed and still understand these 2 different series so well, it really helped once I realized that the physical books have maps. That definitely helped. To Wendland we go.
To Wendland. Where is Wendland?
Where is Wendland?
There's
a map with Wendland. It just says to Wendland this way. It's like going to see the fucking Wizard of Oz. Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah, I will never forget the day that we were sitting in your office talking about the books or something, and you're like, did you know that there's a map?
There's a map.
Like, what?
This whole time, just like imagine like having to create these worlds on your own. Very wrong. Very wrong. Yeah. Which is why I might be wrong about the troll people, so. Yeah. We can look up on Wiki what they look like and talk about it next week. Just update, yeah.
Turns out, I'm just kidding.
They're actually crickets.
That would absolutely be our luck.
Yeah. Well, we don't even talk about the big birds.
That was like a 2-hour discussion.
Yeah.
We'll get there, I
promise. Okay, so moving on.
Oh.
Yes. Yeah. What else did I pick on? So Elena, of course I remember meeting Elena, but like then knowing what role she plays on, I was like, okay, I need to like focus on every single word that she says. She's gonna give it all away. Did she tell us the end at the beginning?
Yeah. I mean,
Yes.
basically.
Yeah.
We just weren't paying attention.
Well, I didn't realize that she was going to, be something. I kind of thought that a lot of this was kind of going to go in and out, and it doesn't. It's really like it might slow down a little bit towards Heir of Fire, Assassin's Blade. Obviously, Assassin's Blade is also giving you so much information, but
Yeah.
yeah. Caltaine.
Oh yeah.
We are introduced to Caltaine in this book.
I read it as Caitlin, and then it's never been anything but Caitlin, but it's Caltaine for those of you who
listener, reader.
Yeah. I was like, her name's what?
We had a lot of these conversations. Yeah.
We still don't know how to say half of this stuff, so
I listened to it and still don't know how to say half of it.
like Otterlin, some people say it's like Adderlin. I don't know. So you're not alone if you don't know how to pronounce anything in a Sarah J. Maas book. You're not alone.
Ask me how to say Bobby Yellowlegs. That's the only time I'm going to say it right. Yeah.
Next week she's going to be like, the witch's name is what?
Yes, very much. But so we meet Caltaine. First read through, hated that bitch. Whoa.
Yeah, she was awful.
She was the worst.
Yeah.
Literally, I was like, she gets what her punishment fits the crime,
She reminded me of, what's the girl in Bridgerton? That Eloise.
Cressida?
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah, she was Cressida.
She's giving Cressida vibes. I imagine Cressida with just like jet black hair. Very much so. That was, especially the part where they're walking through at the beginning and she throws like the bowl down on them. I just saw Cressida just walking through town being like,
promenading through the garden or whatever, and she chunks that flower pot at her or whatever it is.
No interest in her. Oh, well, turns out she does.
Yeah, and then she was so rude to Nehemia, like talking about, or basically calling her dumb because she didn't speak the common language, and
I mean, just being a rude person. Yeah, and she was a rude person.
She was a rude person.
Let's not get this wrong. Let's not get it twisted. She was a bad person.
Yeah. And then she got thrown in the dungeon, and she gained a new outlook on life eventually.
We also know, though, find out, and we're told later in the books, obviously, but you pick up on it more now that she's slowly being poisoned by Pennington.
Yes. Parrington.
Yeah.
Parrington.
But she's slowly being poisoned by Parrington, and that's part of all of the in and out and being gaslit and manipulated and all those kind of things. Now, do I think she was a bad person to begin with? Of course I do. But
yeah, she does get a good redemption arc.
Know that she would have done all of the things necessarily to that extent.
No, I don't think so. She definitely was being manipulated because she poisons Selena like at the end, the final battle.
Bloodsbane.
Yeah. And then she absolutely loses it and then shoots herself in the foot because of course nobody's going to believe her over Harrington. He's like, I didn't.
Are you saying you did this?
What?
Well, that's crazy. Somebody
we didn't have this conversation, and like she's just trying to like make it somewhere, right? She wants to marry high.
As of the times, I guess.
Yeah. So she just is like set on marrying Dorian, and that was never gonna work.
Never gonna happen. He had no interest in her. And the minute that Selena walked in, he was like, "Bazinga!" Yeah.
Selena did spend a lot of time back and forth between Dorian and Cale, and she does through the whole book. But she could have just like not chosen.
100%. Okay, so let's get this out of the way as well. Towards the beginning of the Throne of Glass, you feel her going towards Cale.
Yes.
You feel that there's something there. Dorian seeks her out. Dorian is like, hey, you want to get in my library?
Yeah. You want to read these books?
Here's some books, but I demand that you read these first.
Yeah, I know you're a little lonely, so here's a little smut book.
Which the thoughtfulness behind that gesture. That you have to really know who I am to send me what I want. You know what I mean? And then I love the part of the book where she's reading the smut and Cale comes in, he finds out what she's reading and he like leaves and then Dorian comes in right after and he's like, Cale reads this book? Yes! My homie been reading this?
I learned something new about my best friend.
I'm telling you right now, yes.
Maybe I can compare
It
notes.
was a lot of instances where, like, one would be in, one would leave, and one would... When I was like, did y'all cross each other in the hall? Do we know what's going on here? It set up the perfect why choose.
It did.
Yeah.
My why choose comes much later, but obviously because I'm not Selena, then it's not super weird. But Adian and Rowan, I would not have chosen. Just give me both.
That was never an option.
I know. I'm just saying that'd be more. Well, I mean, they're not. If you want to really get down into it, if all wouldn't have gone to shit, Selena would have had to marry Adian.
That would have been weird. I mean, I know that, other times, again, you do whatever you do,
Right.
but I don't know, man.
I don't know. I'm just, as an outside observer, my why choose would be...
No. Well, as an outside observer, mine would be Lorcan and Dorian. So,
yeah.
my two types.
Yes. Which was so
God.
funny because I don't really feel like when we started reading this book and you like immediately became obsessed with Dorian, I was like, he's not even your type. And then we met Lorcan, I was like, oh, that one. That's her type right there.
Grumpy? Big?
Harry?
Say less. Oh my God. No way I would be LD.
Yeah.
Throw those knives, baby.
Yeah.
Juggle for me a little bit, you know what I mean? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The competition was definitely giving... It's kind of giving Hunger Games, but like, that scene in Shrek?
Oh
Where
God.
Lord Farquaad is standing up there and like it's before all hell breaks out. He's like, some of you may die, but that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. That was the king. 100%. He's like, y'all are all gonna die, but it's gonna be fine.
Well, especially at the end fight.
Yeah.
Where she wins and he's like, again. Again? I'm sorry. Pause. I don't think I read the rule book here.
Yeah. I'm so confused.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Cain was like,
okay.
Oh, all right. And then he tries to kill her.
Yeah.
And I have so many questions about that fight scene.
Same. I'm still confused on it all seems like a dream haze.
Yeah.
Okay.
It didn't make sense the first time that I read it through, really. I think that I was just trying to get through the end of the book because it happens like literally right at the end of the book, right?
Right.
I was trying to get through the end of the book because I didn't like it so much the first time. But then when I went back, I was like, okay, looking at it with a new light, maybe I will not have to speed read it and maybe I just missed some details. Maybe it's going to make a little bit more sense this time. It, in fact, did not make any more sense.
Right.
Because one of the big things that gets me with the fight is that they had this whole trial about poison, right? Mm-hmm. They had to take the goblets and put them in order from most deadly to least deadly, right?
And the guy helps her out. He's like,
yeah, and she was going to get to that conclusion. She was just stuck on two of them, so she knows about poison. We find out later that Arabin taught her about poison.
Right.
But then she just lets her drink it, spiked by Caltaine, and she's like, oh, I feel funny. You didn't know? How did you you can't be so trusting. That part really got to me.
Yeah, I know. The not being trusting part hurt. I'm not taking a drink from anyone in this entire city.
Yeah, I don't like any of you.
Unless I wouldn't even let Kale and Dorian give me drinks, I'll be honest with you.
No, because somebody probably gave them you're like, here you go, and then they pass it to Selena, right? So it's like, it's not like Dorian's going to go to the kitchen and get some water. He's going to have a servant go to the kitchen and get water.
Right.
Who knows what the servant's getting, or who the servant's getting paid off by, or whatever.
Even then, servitude, and they'd find out who they get beheaded. It'd be a whole thing. But if your enemy brings you a drink,
you don't know.
Well, and then when she goes, I can taste it.
Yeah, that part really, really didn't make any sense to me. And then when she is getting the ever-living hell beat out of her because she has been drugged, Nehemia steps in and she summons Elena. Okay, so then Elena's there and nobody can see Elena except Nehemia and Selena, supposedly. But they're talking about it and Cain is coming towards Selena and Elena just takes him and flings him across whatever they're on.
Imagine
grassy knoll.
I imagine it like a boxing ring.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he just goes flying backwards with some force. Like, it's not like he was literally standing there and then he's flew across the boxing ring, if you will. Like, how? Nobody thought that was suspicious. We just I guess Kane flew backwards by 6 feet for no fucking reason. Like, nobody knew anything was going on. Weird.
Yeah, I think I blacked out during that because I remember Elena being there, but I don't remember. Was it Elena that threw him?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was coming at her, and she
I think that I never even second thought about. Gave a second thought about it. I think I was just like, oh, well, that just happened.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we know that the king could see because the king still has magic or whatever. He just didn't say anything. He doesn't know all of the ward marks. Yeah, because he didn't know the one that popped up on her head.
Right.
But it was just that it was weird. Nobody saw that she was being
again still left with questions after that fight after the second time.
Yeah.
And I just kind of have to go with it because sorry guys, I have an itchy eye.
The lemon juice you got in your eye earlier.
Oh, I squeezed 2 lemons in 2 different eyes. Anyway, that part was so confusing to me. I think I just was like, I'm getting to the end of the book.
Yeah.
And then Selena has to break up with Dorian because she's the king's champion.
He sat there and let her get her ass kicked. At least Kale tried to give her some motivation.
All he said was, don't die.
He said, get up.
Get up. Whatever. All he said was,
if you didn't use the right words. Dorian just sat there, stared at her, and was like, oh, that sucks.
But he didn't know that she was poisoned.
Neither did Kale.
And after he realizes that she was poisoned, he feels terrible about it.
After, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What else? I mean, I can't say enough. If you've read this series through and you didn't, Throne of Glass was not your favorite, I highly encourage you to go back and reread it. I think that it's so good the second time. Yeah. I went back, obviously, and updated my Goodreads review.
Oh, did you? I think I did, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just excited for next week for Crown of Midnight.
I know. They just keep getting better.
They do. They really do. They keep getting better every single time.
They do get longer, though, so buckle up a little bit. The last several books are rather thick.
I'm going to be on a timeline. I'm going to be on a reading schedule.
Yes, because, somebody over here doesn't like to finish the books before you start recording the podcast.
I did now.
Yeah, you did.
This time, yeah.
I guess originally when we started reading these books, we read ACOTAR first. You had already read ACOTAR, and then I read it, and then you're like, well, we'll read Throne of Glass together.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really think looking back on it, I don't think it matters if you read Throne of Glass before you read ACOTAR. Definitely have to read Crescent City last. We haven't read that one yet, but we've heard that you have to for sure read Crescent City last.
There's a lot of guest appearances.
Yeah.
In Crescent City is what we've heard. So
yeah, and there's only that one scene that really is related between the two books.
Yeah, I don't think that. I mean, you would know if you're in the lore. You would know.
Yeah.
About when she falls through the universes and sees, but
so
it's referenced in both books. So either way, you'll figure it out.
Yeah, you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So I had originally said that we recommend that you read ACOTAR then Throne of Glass, but now that I'm on the other side of both of those, it doesn't matter which order you read them in.
No, I agree with you. I think that you can read either one first. I will tell you though, I highly liked the way that I did it with reading ACOTAR first because to me, Throne of Glass is a better series. I've always said if there was more smut in Throne of Glass, there would not, because there's not sex. I mean, there's one sex in.
Yeah.
I think talking about the other sex next week.
I think that's one of the reasons that I didn't like the series to begin with, because the internet lies, and we were trying to see if there was going to be smut, and then people's definition of smut
very, very different than mine.
Very different.
Yeah.
So there is next to no smut. So if you don't enjoy reading smut, Throne of Glass is where it's at. It's a great series. There's like closed door scenes, which infuriates the rest of us because it could be so good. Better. It's good.
I don't even want to talk about Lorcan.
Nobody wants to talk about Lorcan.
I want to talk about Lorcan, but I don't want to talk about what Lorcan did.
No, nobody knows what Lorcan did. That's like, how do you summon a generation with like one song? It's like, how do you
What did Lorcan do?
how do you summon a book group?
Yeah, they say that and Break the Bond, which that was a good one. Yeah. But I mean that's true though. Yeah. But no. I think that either one, I highly like. But even though there is no smut in Throne of Glass, still rent free in my head all the time.
Yes, and I think going back and reading it now, knowing that there's not going to be smut, and it's not like I'm not like looking forward. Like I was looking forward to the smut, right? And then I was just like reading it. And I was like, oh, now there's not, and I was disappointed. But now that I know what I'm getting into, I'm excited because like I don't know. There's that one scene that I had to like Google. I was on a Reddit rabbit hole trying to figure out like if we were ever gonna even get
to smut.
Yeah. Especially when Rowan gets introduced because you're like,
we get one smut scene. It's coming up. We'll talk about it in depth. Don't worry. It'll probably be like 30 minutes of the episode.
Yeah. So if that's what you're hopping on board with because you've read the other books that we recommended and you're looking for a lot of smut, find a side piece because you're not going to find it.
I highly recommend though. You can do it smut for 8 bucks.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah,
they're great.
And
books.
read smut in between if it,
Yeah,
that's what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.